I'm Chris.
And I'm Rachel.
And today on Out and About in Simcoe County, we are at Awenda Provincial Park and we are continuing our quest for snakes.
Yes, only 40 minutes from Barrie. And hopefully, we're told that there are snakes here. We're told there's lots of snakes here. So
10 different kinds of snakes.
10 different kinds of snakes. So
plus, you know what? They've got hundreds and hundreds of acres out here. I'm sure there's lots more animals. We're going to find something today for sure.
We're definitely finding mosquitoes, that's for sure.
And wherever there's mosquitoes, there's food. Wherever there's food, there's Rachel. Ready to go look?
True that. Let's go.
All right.
Oh, you so totally got him. Did you see that catch, folks? Yay!
Hey.
Awesome. You've done this before.
I like doing this.
So this is Tim Tully, and he's a bug guy like me. You're a bug guy. You're a fish guy. You're
I guess you'd
a
say
mammal guy.
I'm a generalist.
You're a generalist.
And I like all nature, and as the park naturalist, that's sort of part of my job is to learn about what it is that's here. Let's see if we can come out and introduce our friend here.
And he's a big fellow too, isn't he?
This is a larger male skimmer. And I'm just going to be delicate.
Now, are the males larger than the females?
No difference in sizes, generally speaking, but the difference is, here we go, in the coloration and the pattern.
Oh, I see. And
So
this is a skimmer, you said?
This is a skimmer, and it's a male. It has that lovely powder blue, and again, some very dark markings, but what's really beautiful is that powder blue is up here. And you can see the multiple mouth parts here.
Yes.
Just on the side.
And much
it's
larger
moving.
than the calico that we saw earlier.
And that's one of the things, just like when you're bird watching, you're looking for those distinguishing features. So size is the big one. We often see the big darners that are flying.
Yeah.
And you're looking for other things. Skimmers are a little bit different, and they like to perch, and we saw that when it was out in that one area.
You're so gentle with them. It's just, it's nice to see. There's a lot of people, they don't know that there's a specific way that you need to handle these so that you don't damage their wings.
They're so delicate, and we're just holding it for a brief while, and then we'll let it go. So I'll just put it here on my finger, and we'll let it spread its wings. There we go.
Beautiful.
A rare jewel in Awenda Provincial Park.
We're down at Kettle Lake now, and this is gorgeous. The sun came out for us. There's a little bit of a cloud, so it's not too hot. I'm not sweating yet, which you'll notice as we spend the day together, Mike. This is Mike, and he is the man at Awenda Park. So I like this area. We've got canoes, we've got this nice boardwalk. How did this all come to be?
Well, a number of years ago, about 14, 15 years ago, this site was virtually inaccessible unless you were pretty spry. It had been kind of uncontrolled use, and it had all kind of washed and eroded away. And not too many people could get down here, but everyone wanted to be here. So what we did to help protect the environment that was being destroyed by the use that was going on, we totally rehabbed the area. We revegetated with natural seeding, and we put in a universal access boardwalk system of ramps so that whether you're elderly or in a wheelchair or someone pushing a stroller, everyone now has the opportunity to come down to this great little lake here. And in the process of doing that, we've totally stabilized the site, and we went from an area that was actually looking pretty barren to a pretty lush, rich forest in the making. And you've seen it, Chris. It's gorgeous down here.
It's thick. You can't even see 10 feet off the trail, off the boardwalk, into the bush. It is so thick. And you said this came back in just a few years?
Very few years. Within the first couple of years, it had greened up. And within 5 years, we were well on our way to the nice, rich forest that you see now. So it's where a little bit of intervention by man and a little bit of construction can be a good thing when it comes to protecting the environment. When you get down in here and the canoe rentals for anyone visiting the park, whether you're camping or day use, you can sign it out for an hour, a half day, or the full day. And what a great little lake to go out. And if you're just learning to canoe, it's a very controlled environment. The waves aren't too big, the wind's not too strong, and you can drop a line and do a little fishing too. So.
And there's no motorboats on here?
Absolutely
no
no motorboats. So it's a very controlled environment.
There are a lot of little critters around here that probably most people wouldn't notice. You have to keep a really sharp eye out. You can see a bunch of little minnows. Average person, well, they would probably see those. But if you look closely, you'll see some funky tracks in the sand. Like this one here. You can see where it's kind of a trail. There's a couple of other smaller trails. And then you have the maker of those trails, which, if you look in this area, you're just going to see a bunch of rocks pretty much. Right in here. But I have a surprise. It's a clam, and that's its foot, and that's what it uses to move along through the sand. It's kind of pushing its way back in. So yeah, bivalves. Woo! You can find them if you keep your eye open. Always be looking, because there's always going to be critters around, whether you see them or not. Critters abound. Once again, keeping your eyes open, death and life, right here and within about we'll give it a 1.5 foot span, maybe 2 foot span. We've got dead minnow, and that'll feed a lot of things like seagulls and raccoons that come by, pretty much anything. That probably just died today. The water probably rose during last night's incredibly hard rains, and it actually caught a few minnows here. And then as the temperature increased in this little puddle, it got to be too much for them and they died. But if you look a little bit to the right here, we've got a little froggy friend. And this would be a leopard frog. This would be, I don't know what kind of frog, but we'll find out, because I think Chris has his little froggy map. And it's so cute. I'm going to see if I can catch it, just because I like catching frogs. Oop, look at him go. Doing. Look at the leap on that guy. I mean, really. That is a really long, you see how small that little frog was, and you jump like that far. Could you imagine if we could do that? Not so much. The Olympics would just be insane. That would be awesome.
We're now heading up the Nipissing Trail, and we already saw warbler right there. It actually was sitting up on the tree as I walked up, and now it just flew into the forest. But there's a lot of birds around here, so we're going to walk up the Nipissing Trail, and then we're going to walk down to the beach where there may be snakes. We're going to see, but we know there's going to be birds.
I'm really already enjoying this place. It's people walking their dogs, and people, and bugs, and birds, and this is just an awesome place.
Dragonflies. I saw you with Tim with the dragonflies.
Yeah, I couldn't stand it. It's so cute.
Bug geeks are so cool when they get with other bug geeks.
I know. I was geeking out with Tim there for a while, but let's go find some other stuff to geek out with.
All right.
All right. I grabbed my microphone so I can actually ask you what's up with these pine trees. All of a sudden, just blammo, pine trees.
That's a really good observation, because when you look at Awenda, the lowland part of the park has a really different group of tree species, and you're seeing some here. This is eastern hemlock, which is one of the oldest long-living trees that we have in the park, and what's really identifiable about it is that multi-branching. You see all of those multiple
there's
stems?
Nothing, like it's all broken off and dead looking, and then all of a sudden, hey, it's Christmas time.
There you go.
Yeah.
And in fact, this is a really great habitat in the wintertime, because that shielding effect of the snow is great habitat for our deer. So this is a really popular wildlife location in the winter. And you can see the hemlock over here. If you look at the leaves, or at least the needles.
Yes, they're very short, aren't they?
They're very short, but if you look at it, they're whitish on the underside. And if you're looking carefully, they're all of different sizes, really tightly packed together. And if you're seeing
and then there's like really teeny, that's all new growth there. They're really pale green.
Yeah, just from this year. And you'll sometimes see the cones right at the end on the tips. The tip of that particular tree, the growth tip groups. So it doesn't have the stem like a pine or a spruce or a fir that grows straight up and down. And we have some of those trees in this lowland too, but hemlock is a really common one.
So know your pines.
Know your conifers. Here at Awenda Provincial Park.
Yes.
That northern environment.
Getting cozy with conifers.
Cozy with conifers. I'm going to borrow that for a program. I think that's a great one. You started out with a bald rock, similar to what we have here. So you've got that rock surface, and then you've got your lichens that are moving in, and they're literally digesting parts of that rock. So some of the mineral content is being left in these small pockets, and eventually with a little moisture the second stage happens, and that's the mosses. So we're looking at a staged process here that eventually, as those mosses start to die, and you see the organic matter, the dead leaves accumulating, it creates a soil profile that's very thin. And then if you're looking over here, you can see some of our common spring ephemerals like the trilliums, and in this case a magnificent example of a tree that actually was able to start germinating on top of the erratic, and then what it did was it sent its roots down to the forest floor where it's guaranteed to get moisture and nutrient because there wouldn't be enough on that bald rock. But it looks like the tree has literally grown up and around the rock when it started, in fact, on top. The roots moved down and you get more bark forming around it. And then the tree formed right up on top and growing that straight pattern that you see. So we've got a nice, looks like a maple up that's taken advantage of what was initially a process started by this lichen.
We're going for an adventure to a big rock.
Now that's an erratic.
This is an erratic. This is.
These are tiny compared to some of the ones we'll find later on here today.
And here you can see all these little, this is like a whole nother forest up here. I expect a little fairy or something to pop up. It looks just like a little fairy playground. And you can actually see some trees that are starting to grow on here. Maybe someday will be one of those big wraparound trees that we saw earlier, anchoring itself to this monster of an erratic boulder. Pretty sure this is quartz. It's a nice pink quartz. Stay in school, kids. Learn as much as you can. You never know when you're going to need it. Pink quartz, erratic boulders, glaciers, all of it ties together. Stay in school. Check this out, Chris. Oh my God.
I was just here petting it.
Look how hot it is.
I know.
This thing is awesome. Come look at my fungus. It looks like cement. This isn't cement, this is a fungus. There's a fungus among us. It's so hard.
It's like astroturf.
No, this is it.
Yeah, this part I'm touching
Yeah.
here.
Well, that's the 1970s shag carpeting. Look at that. I'm going to have to find the name of this fungus. And there's our little friend the slug hanging out on the fungus. I can't stand how awesome this place is. You just look a little closer, you can find so much. It's fungus. We're getting down with the fungi here.
You're really going to the ultimate geeking moment here.
I am geeking out with the fungi. I love fungus, I love rot. I love decay because that's where all growth comes from. And I'm just, look at these little tubophiles here. They're just kind of sticking out.
Yeah, these ones are quite characteristic, and you can feel them. They're quite hard to the touch.
Yeah, they feel woody. They almost feel like they're made out of wood, and they're stiff. You know, they look fragile, but they're not.
Down here. And the name of this one is very characteristic. It's called Dead Man's Fingers.
Yeah,
So it has,
that's an awesome name.
It has some really interesting capacity when it comes to that name.
Dead man's fingers. It even looks like there's like a little fingernail hanging out here, and it's gonna reach out and claw your eyes out or something. It's awesome. Dead man's fingers.
So what it's doing is, just as you were saying, it's breaking down that hard tissue, and you can see here's that hard wood, and it's turning into those nutrients back into the soil. Right. So a real primary important part of our decomposing cycle. So all of that hard lignin and cellulose is now really soft and great habitat for insects, or in some cases it could be a nursery log for one of those hemlock that we saw. The seedling will start here.
It'll start in there and grow up.
Lots of moisture.
Dead man's fingers.
Dead man's fingers.
Who'd have thought you could get creeped out and grooving on it all at the same time? I'm loving it.
The nature of fungi.
Yes.
We've covered the trees, we've covered the bluffs.
Now we're going to cover the beach.
Excellent.
That's my favorite part. I didn't bring my bikini this time, but I don't think television's ready for that anyway.
It's like 3 different parks here.
It is. It's amazing. All the trees, and then all the rocks, and now the beach.
We made it out onto the beach, and we are looking at Giant's Tomb Island out here, right?
That's correct. Giant's Tomb Island is part of Awenda Provincial Park and has been since 1985. So it comes under provincial park regulation, about 95% of the island anyways. And we protect it just as we do and manage it just as we do the mainland of Awenda.
Giant's Tomb Island, it's believed to be the legendary resting place of Kitchikawana. And if you're looking carefully, you can see that larger hump in the center. That's where Kitchikawana has his arms folded. And then the northern part of the island is actually the head, and that elongated section are the legs. And he had and died of a very classic heartbreak. He had a lovelorn. He lay down in that particular location after his intended Wanakita fled to the north. And the story goes that he lay down and was buried here right as we see, and that creates that form of the island.
Now, does he have any stories about snakes?
Well, I think Kitchikawana would be someone very familiar with snakes, and probably some that would be right along his very shores. And maybe we'll have a look for one here momentarily.
You see what's happening? We're going to look for snakes. Mike, are you up for this?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. It's a little windy today. The most likely snake we're going to find is the northern water snake, which is really cool, but tends to freak out a lot of boaters because they're very, very good in the water. But with water this rough today, it's even a rough day for water snakes. So who knows what we'll find. We've got a team of people out here. We've got professionals. Tim and Mike are out here, Rachel and myself. So we're walking along. So if you hear a scream, it wasn't one of us that found it. It might have been the camera girl, Deanne, that found it. So let's keep our eyes open.
Where do you want to go now, Chris?
We moved in from the beach, and it was so windy and loud out there, and there was a lot of people as well, but it was noisy. In here, we're 50 feet away from the beach.
Yeah. I mean, I can
so
still
quiet.
hear it a little bit, but
There's some waves.
I feel like just, like it's a little bit of white noise and a little more relaxed.
We're back in where our element is.
Yes.
This is it.
Where the snakes are.
We've got some water. We've watered up now.
Where the wild things are.
That's what we're looking for.
All right, let's go find some wild things.
It's a little soggy.
Ooh, this might actually be a good thing. Ooh, there. Here, I'm gonna move this. Oh, don't wait.
Hang on.
Move my feet out of the way here. Oh, millipede. Hello, millipede. I don't want to impede the millipede. Here you go.
He was an easy capture.
We want him to succeed, the millipede.
Well, easy once we jumped off the railing, climbed through the woods, moved off of a piece of log that's about 5 feet long, and found him. He just gave up right away.
He didn't give up. He rolled into a ball. That's his last resort.
When a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? We didn't hear it, but we found it.
What is the sound of one hand clapping?
Yeehaw!
If Chris falls in a forest and no one's
Does
around,
anybody hear it? It's a good thing this is such soft moss, except that it's a little slippery. Well, if I slip crossing a log here, you're going down for sure. You want to race? Oh, there goes another frog.
yeah?
Damn it.
You're very efficient at scaring them today. I think the bottom here is so squishy.
Yeah, there's a lot of silt.
Yeah, I think they're actually squishing themselves into the silt.
We could use our nets. They're in the truck. Back over there somewhere. I brought my snake hook. There goes another one. Oh. So you can fall in. Oh, great. And I'm stepping on my own shoelace.
Good for you.
Oh, yeah, that's a slippery spot right there.
All right, you little bat. Talking trash to the frog.
I'll tuck that shoelace in so I don't trip
Oh, wait, no, it's a stump. Now who's crazy?
Oh.
Oh, Chris. I do have faith in you, but not the good kind of faith.
Oi, get. Ah! All right, I'm in.
So is it as cold as I think it is?
No, but it is as thick as you thought it was. I'm in now.
You're in deep.
Oh, wow.
Oh, gruesome.
So if we weren't sure exactly how deep the mud is, it's about that deep. Where's that frog you were looking for?
No, it was just a little piece of stump. That's why I said, oh, you're a stump. Look who's crazy now. And now I'm seeing who's crazy. Oh, look at that quagmire. You so dreamy. And he scared another frog.
I'm in the water with you now, frogs. It is on.
Well, Chris, we didn't find any snakes here at Awenda Park.
We did not, but we put our heart and souls into it, and
Blood, sweat, and tears.
we had a good time. We had a lot of fun.
I am sweating.
It was a good time, and this is what nature's all about.
Getting out there,
Getting dirty.
getting dirty.
I mastered the second part of it, no problem. But you know what? Mike and Tim were a great help. They
Yes.
showed us around the park.
And this could be a lifetime spent at this park. This isn't just one day affair. Mike and Tim, they both said, Mike said he's been here for 23 years. Tim said he's been here for 25, and they're both still finding new stuff.
It's amazing. That's what nature's about. It's out and about in Simcoe County.